Trust you guys are doing well. Wherever you are watching this live broadcast, Maryland, different states, different cities. Thanks for joining me on this quick live broadcast, which I don't think is gonna take me that long to just get this message out to you. I got an article recently that brought tears into my eyes. This article is about the National Museum of African American History that will be open to the public this coming weekend. Good thing about this, which I'm very proud of, is I'll be speaking at this event this coming Sunday at this live opening of the museum. It's a monumental project. And the good thing about this that I discovered was the building was actually inspired by the Yoruba people of Nigeria, and also the Yoruba folks in Benin as well. So it's a great thing for the Nigerians and for the Yoruba tribe to be part of the history. And not only that, the lead architect for this building, for this project, for this museum, was actually a Ghanaian, a British Ghanaian person. So, I mean, for Africans, it's a great thing. For African Americans, thumbs up. But anyway, someone sent this article to me to just read about what this museum is all about. Yes, sir. Starting to occur. Yeah, very historical. It is very historical, and I'm glad to be a part of it. To be chosen to speak at this event on a panel this coming Sunday. So, in this article, there was a video that was embedded in the article, and the video was about giving a tour of the museum. And as this man was giving a tour, he talked about Harriet Tubman, who was a slave. A woman was a slave, and she freed thousands of Africans that were slaves. Thousands of Africans that were slaves. She freed them, and including herself as well. So when we think about slaves, we typically, maybe not everyone, think of African Americans, but not actually like Africans thinking that the slaves then were Africans. So when we see things going on in the society and people being killed and they're talking about slavery, Africans tend not to connect the dot. And we tend to just look at African Americans as their history being, slaves back in the days. But the real slaves were Africans. So we need to be connected and be sensitive to slavery. That's just one point. But this is where I'm going. So this woman, Harriet Tubman, freed a lot of Africans that were slaves. And there was a quote that she wrote back then, and I'm going to read the quote to you. So the quote says, "God's time is always near. He set the North Star in the heavens. He gave me the strength in my limbs. He meant I should be free." That is the part that got me in tears. And you can see maybe I still have like red eyes, like I just finished crying, literally. The part that it says, it meant I should be free. Let me just read the entire quote again. God's time is always near. He set the north star in the heavens. He gave me the strength in my limbs. And this is the part that got me in tears. It meant I should be free. It meant I should be free. God meant for you and I to be free. The slavery that some of us are going through may not be physical slavery. It could be mental slavery. It may not be that you've been chained, you working as a slave in someone's house. It may not mean that for you. Slavery could mean a lot of different things for you. And I can relate to that. I really can relate to that, to what slavery is. I remember years ago, I was living in my parents' basement, my dad and mom's house. I was living in their basement for many years. And I just felt that I was restricted to freedom, to think. I just felt that there were things that I could be achieving. There were things that I could attempt, but I couldn't do those things. Just the mere fact that I was living in the basement. Not that my parents restricted me from moving around, from doing what I wanted to do in life. No. They didn't do that. They were great parents. They allowed me to do everything I wanted to do. But internally, mentally, I felt that there was something blocking, impeding my growth in life. And I attributed it to the basement. Because I was limited. I could not free my mind. And I realized that there were just greater days ahead of me, greater things that I'm supposed to be pursuing. But just because I was sleeping in that basement, I couldn't do all those things. I was encapsulated. I was held in bondage. I could not spread my wings and fly. I could not move fast. I could not progress as fast as I wanted, just living in that basement. So when I read the quote from Harriet Tubman, and that last statement said, God meant I should be free, that just struck me. That took me to that time. And tears just dropped in my eyes. Because I understand what it is to be in slavery. And again, my parents did not put me to slave. I was living a good life. They allowed me to do everything I wanted to. But within myself, I just felt that I wasn't progressing as I wanted to. I wasn't advancing. I was not improving. So immediately I realized that. I spoke to my parents. I said I wanted to move out. And at that time, I believe I was 22, 23 years old. I was 22, 23 years old. And they asked me the reason why. I just explained. I said, I have to be real. I cannot continue to live in the basement. I cannot live under you anymore. I have to free myself. I've just felt that I was not progressing at the speed that I wanted to in life. And it was hard for them to understand that. It was hard for them to comprehend what I was saying. Because, like, what is this boy talking about? It's like being in the basement is an impediment to your progress in life? Like, how? But with enough convincing, with enough, dialogue, with respect, they got it. I said, okay, so what do you want to do? I said, I want to get me a house. I don't even want to live in an apartment. I want to get a house. And luckily, thank God, at that time I had a job that could at least pay the mortgage for a decent house. So my dad took upon himself. He drove around and found me a house. And I got a house at that time. I think I was 23 years old when I bought my first house. And as soon as I moved into the house, I experienced fast progress, expedient progress, speed in my development, in my progress in life, in my vision, in my goals. I could think clearly. Now, let me explain this. Even when I moved into my house, it was a ranch house, just one main floor and a basement. 2 rooms on the main floor and 1 room in the basement. Huge basement. When I moved into the house, I was living by myself. I was actually living in the basement when I moved into the house. I wasn't living in one of the rooms on the main floor. I was living in the basement. But the difference of living in my own basement of my house versus living in the basement of my parents was freedom. Freedom mentally. Freedom to think. Freedom to expand my thought, my vision. I could see things clearly. I was making moves. So that's just to say, you can be in a space in life, in a confinement, in a box that is not allowing you to just free yourself. Think beyond. It could be your job that is keeping you as a slave, that you are not allowed to do what you want to do. Some people go to work. When they wake up, they're not happy. When they get to that door of their building, they just feel this old depression. The happiness, the joy level just drop because they're not doing what they want to do in life, because that job depresses them. That job does not bring them fulfillment. It could be what is keeping you enslaved. Might be your relationship with your partner. You're just not happy in that relationship. You're not fulfilled. You're not satisfied. It could be the circle of friends that you keep that is limiting your growth, that is limiting your emancipation, that you cannot just expand and do greater things. Sometimes just taking a break, taking a walk, taking a vacation might help you to free your mind, might help you think or come up with